I just got the notification. We are live. Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. Here we are. Bam! And
Brandy's
we're up,
already
Zach.
liked it. Thanks, Brandy.
What
Wait,
happened?
what? She already liked the stream.
Well, thank you. That was fast.
That was really fast.
But she was
All
probably
right.
waiting for it.
Hello once again, everybody.
We're back, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. Take it.
Okay,
So,
so go ahead. Just do it. Just go ahead.
okay. So, today on Jargon podcast, I had to say it like that. We've got quite a few topics here. Stealing Windows credentials.
Using Google Chrome. So you know the most popular browser on the most popular operating system.
Bum bum bum. Let's see here. Cody boxes with privacy add-ons.
Are now illegal
And
to be
the
sold on
new-
Facebook.
And the new Surface Pro.
Not the Surface Pro 5, but the new Surface Pro.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Among many other things. So why don't we just jump into it? You want to take over talking about the stealing Windows credentials?
Yeah, I'll do that. So something came up this past week where a software developer and malware researcher found that Windows credentials, so your username and password for Microsoft Windows, can actually be stolen using the Google Chrome browser. So again, that is the most popular browser, Chrome, on the most popular platform, Windows, can just be, you taken over. So how that works is you have a website that you frequently visit. An attacker could plant a file called a shell command file, SCF, inside that website. This is called a waterhole attack, where an attacker knows that you frequently visit a website. Once you visit that website, the file can automatically be downloaded to your downloads folder. And the cool thing about SCF files is as soon as you open the folder, they're triggered. So you don't double click the file. You never do that. You just open.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. From a development perspective, maybe not from a security perspective. But yeah, you open the folder, the command line file automatically runs and does whatever it's been programmed to do. These particular files could be used to basically try and access servers on a local network, even if you don't have servers there, because of a vulnerability in SMB. If that sounds familiar, it's because that's the exact same protocol that was used by the recent ransomware outbreak. So, what is SMB? SMB is a file sharing protocol built into Windows. There are 3 versions of it, and it's been around for a long time. Unfortunately, when software kind of gets long in the tooth, bugs appear. So just to get back to the SCF files, it can try and ping a server on the same network, and whether that server exists or not, when Windows tries to connect to a server on a file network or on a local network, it sends an authentication request with a username and password in it. So it sends the packet, the user is prompted for a password, and then inside that packet, the password's kept. So if you type in your password and it's correct, it matches against the password inside the packet. Well, that file that contains the password, once it realizes it's true or false, that can be sent back over the internet, and an attacker can use that information to gain access to your Windows computer. And now with Windows 10, even with Windows 8, 8.1, your Microsoft account is tied to that PC. So you could lose more than just your Windows account credentials. You can lose access to, Xbox Live, any kind of other service that uses Microsoft authentication. I know that was a lot. That was a lot very early, but that's basically how it works. And
Oh,
luckily, most people don't use SMB, so if you don't use it, disable it, and I can show you how to do that in a moment.
so yeah. How about if you want to see it, let us know, and like maybe we could cover that towards the end with it. Like,
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely
all right.
fair. If anybody does want to see how to disable SMB, let us know. Maybe we can make a separate video about it too.
Most definitely could. Um, well, I guess I'll
You can cover Beam if you want.
yeah, I'll cover Beam, or should I say Mixer? I should say Mixer because
Should say
Microsoft
Mixer.
has rebranded Beam.Pro and named it Mixer. And really not much else to say about that other than damn you, Microsoft. I loved my Beam.
They have introduced a few new features with it too.
um, yes, they have. I actually saw an ad for Mixer earlier, and it was kind of funny. It had a woman playing a video game online, and she like left to answer a doorbell, and the cat took her controller while she was away and like won whatever first person shooter game she was playing. And like she came back and she's like, "You're not going to believe this." And then like it had a prompt. It was like, "If you don't stream it, no one will believe you," or something like that.
So yeah, yeah, Beam was well, still is through Mixer, a really cool platform similar to Twitch for sharing online video and just streaming online. And Zach and I had used Beam well before it was acquired by Microsoft. We're hipsters like that. And we streamed Minecraft every weekend, similar to this, but we just played games. And The Division and some other games like that. And the really cool thing about Beam is they have a few features like FTL, which means faster than light. Basically, it's real fast. When I say fast, just go to Mixer.com now, and just try to load a video. There's no lag. There's very, very, very little lag. Whereas Twitch, they're behind by 10, 20 seconds, something ridiculous like that. And Mixer has interactivity, so you can, if you're a streamer, you can enable interactivity through your games, and your viewers can actually click buttons to trigger actions in the game. Really cool stuff.
It really is. And like back to FTL, like faster than light. That was actually something that Beam had long before Twitch even attempted to implement something similar.
Yeah,
Like,
didn't they actually try to implement interactive? I haven't been on Twitch for a minute. Didn't they enable interactivity afterward?
yes, they did. So
It's
it
funny.
like Beam was and in my opinion still is like the happening place. It's the place to be.
Yeah, I mean, not many people know about it, which is really a shame because, in my opinion, it is the best of the two streaming sites. If you're comparing it with Twitch, it's far better than Twitch.
The only superior thing that Twitch has is the fact that it's been around longer. Like that's
It
the
definitely has.
that's the only thing. But all right, I don't think there's a whole lot more to cover about Beam, is there?
Not really.
Or Mixer.
I'm not. I know there are new features. I do not have them, but I do have the source. If anyone would like to read about this, they can go here. There is a link that has been posted in the Facebook chat, and that will also be included in the YouTube video description.
All right.
All right, all right. So, on to the
Don't
next. Facebook.
don't
What's
don't
up?
Google things, Brandy. Don't Google how to do it in Chrome.
Using Chrome,
Jeez, like jeez, just asking for it.
right? Facebook has banned the sale of piracy enabling products and devices. So, if you, yeah, you watching, if you have an Amazon Fire TV stick running Android that has been installed, that Kodi has been installed on, and you have another plugin that lets you watch videos for free, this is talking about you. You can no longer sell that product. So there has been a huge influx of cracked Fire Sticks or jailbroken Fire Sticks. Just as an aside, the term's not jailbroken. When you're dealing with Android, you root stuff. You don't jailbreak it. And even then, rooting isn't required. But Amazon Fire TV Sticks have been kind of all the rage for the last couple of years. People just install the app Kodi, which is a video streaming application, and you can install plugins on that let you view pirated content online for free. Not recommending you do that.
Just saying it's available.
Yeah, just saying it's out there. Well, anyway, according to this article on torrentfreak.com, Facebook has banned the sale of these devices in their commerce policy. The bullet point is number 13 here. Products or items that facilitate or encourage unauthorized access to digital media cannot be sold. So if you're one of those entrepreneuring types that is trying to make a quick buck off of somebody else's back here, sorry about your luck.
Well, shame on you, first of all.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it's cool to know how to do it to some extent from a certain point of view, but don't go selling this stuff, man, or woman, or whatever you are, however you identify.
No, we're not assuming.
So what do you think about all this?
I think it's a smart move personally. Like I'm not saying like, oh well, these people suck and they shouldn't have done it. Like whatever, people suck and they do things that they do when, like, regardless of who says what. But from a standpoint of like Facebook, it's smart for them to implement this because it, like, kind of like it gets the monkey off the back. You know what I mean? So
absolutely,
they can't be held liable for illegal stuff being sold on their site as long as they have policies in place to help deter it.
Yeah, and this is, of course, following on the back of that bill that was passed in the United Kingdom, or it was either the United Kingdom specifically or the European Union, that basically made this doing anything with the software illegal. Kodi itself was not made illegal, but using plugins built on top of Kodi that allowed the viewing of pirated content, that of course was made illegal in either the EU or the UK.
I don't remember which one it was.
I'm going to say both until I know otherwise, which I won't know during the show because I don't want to look it up.
All right. So I'm going to move over onto the next topic then.
We're going to fly through these today.
Yeah. All right. So here, all right, this should be a slightly longer one. Google continues to push boundaries between sales and privacy. So this is scary. And well, it's not just scary, but like, speaking frankly, it's ridiculously messed up.
It could be. It definitely could be very messed up.
Google now has the ability, because of partnerships with third-party businesses and locations, to track your credit and debit card purchases that you would make in a physical store. So what I mean by that is if you go to your local Walmart and let's say you buy some clothing, buy some jeans and some underwear or whatever, and Google can access what you purchased so they can sell that information to advertisers on their platform to allow them to put clothing ads and stuff in your online browsing experience that are relevant to your recent purchases. Or they can also be like, all right, I notice on this day or around this day, every year they purchase flowers. Let's say it's an anniversary or something, right? Or a birthday, mom's birthday, and you're always buying her flowers on her birthday. And Google will remember this because they know this now, and they'll throw cheap flower options in your face every time it gets close to mom's birthday.
Right.
So,
and this could be really interesting, considering ISPs are now able to sell their customers' browsing history.
Yep.
So maybe this is purely speculation on my part, but maybe in the next few years, or even the next coming months, depending on how this works out, we could see like APIs just for ads. So you have some kind of like turnkey solution to purchase someone's browsing history from an ISP, or the browsing history of a certain demographic, like um, male 18 to 24, right? Living in a certain area, like say Atlanta. You could buy the browsing history of every male between 18 and 24 from Atlanta and submit that information to Google, who could then provide more relevant ads to you to send to the viewers using their platform. It's scary. It's scary as hell, but it is interesting. I'd like to see
So,
how it plans out.
um, so Google has stated that they'll be able to track roughly 70% of all in-store purchases. Um, but they did state, however, that there will be no way the advertisers that on their platform or the stores in which you purchase will be able to link your online identities to your, real life identity.
As much as I want to believe that, Zach, as much as I want to believe that, I don't think I can, because there are so many identifiers out there online. Even if it's not your social security number or a username or anything like that that can actually, you know, give you away. So many things about your internet browsing can actually show someone who you are. Even the size of your window, your browser window. If anyone has ever downloaded Tor to browse the web anonymously, and you maximize Tor, it even specifically says, hey, maybe you should run in the normal browser size because people can track you. And that's just one of hundreds or thousands of little factors that can help someone find out who you are.
Yeah, it's a scary world out there. It really is.
Yeah, and
Um,
if people want to take advantage of it, they absolutely will.
so Google's statement is they have some form of mathematical formula that they absolutely 100% refuse to allow anybody to see, so it could be verified.
Sounds
But
like a closed source algorithm to me.
ooh,
Getting some
like
jargon in there. Boom.
jogging. um, I don't think there's a whole lot else to cover on that story. Yeah, not really. It's just
I see some statistics on the source here. So this is from neowin.net. So there's a little graphic here that says people who click on an advertiser's Google search ad before visiting a store are over 25% more likely to buy something while they're there. So that could provide some incentive to places like Walmart, Best Buy, etc., big box stores to actually use this kind of platform, because they could see at least 25% increase in sales from that demographic of people. And they also spent over 10% more on average. So those are some interesting statistics.
either way, I'm not super comfortable with it. But while we're on the topic of Google, I just wanted to throw something out there. Speaking of like scary stuff from Google, a story that I didn't realize until earlier today, so I don't have any notes on it, but Google has made an AI that can code AI.
And it's better than humans
Yeah.
at making AI. I caught that on the WAN
So
show earlier.
yeah, like that's scary.
Yeah, I mean, as Linus said in the WAN show, that's exactly what Terminator taught us not to do.
Yeah, straight up, that is some Skynet bullshit.
The one thing we're not supposed to do is make AI that makes AI. The one
Thanks,
thing.
Google.
And of course, Google makes AI make better AI than humans. Of all companies to do that, of course, it would be Google.
So
Their deep mind algorithms and all that.
I guess my main question over it has to be it. How is it better? Like
It is
what
terrifying.
makes it better? What?
Probably the efficiency. I didn't read the article either. So my knowledge is about the same as yours on this. Probably the efficiency. Humans are kind of prone to write bugs. So if you're more efficient and you're able to avoid those bugs by having a low level kind of understanding of the API you're using, then you just won't have those issues. Plus,
I
you
guess,
can do your own error correction too if you're a computer.
yeah. I guess really where like what does what is going to make that scarier? Like, was it
There's not much.
crackable? Was it reversible? Could they break it down? Like, what were the like? I just really want to know what the determining factors on what made it better really were. Because like, if they're like, oh, it was better because nobody understood the language that the AI created and wrote the new AI in, like, you know what I mean? I
We'll find out in just a moment with the power of Google.
thanks Google.
Okay, that is from. That's an old article from 10 days ago. That's from Google I/O. All right. One day
Is that
ago.
like Slither.io? Silence. That hurts. That hurts bad.
Oh, so. All right. That's not it. All I'm seeing, yeah, all I'm seeing is where Google, their Go computer beat someone at playing Go. Oh, I think I found it. And even this is a few days old. Yeah, this is the article I saw. Google's new AI is better at creating AI than the company's engineers. So,
Man, just hearing it said is such a scary thing.
I posted that in the Facebook chat. It'll go in the Google. Wow, Google. It'll go in the YouTube comments as well. So
Which is
Zach,
owned
if
by
you do
Google.
want to click on that, you could read up on it later.
Yes, I will most definitely be getting some more information on that.
All right.
So you wanna take over the next section covering hardware?
Absolutely.
Oh, I guess I forgot to say like software and secure. Either way, hardware.
It's fine. It's fine. So this week, at an event in China, Google launched the new Surface Pro. So this is not the Surface Pro 5. It is the new Surface Pro. That is the official name, just like Apple used on the new iPad 2 years ago.
So can I say something real quick about the new Surface Pro?
Go ahead.
It's essentially the Surface Pro 4, is it not? Just with like a better pen that you have to buy separately.
So that pen also works on the Surface Pro 4, by the way.
Oh dear Lord.
Yeah, it just looks like a generation bump in the CPU, maybe a slight bump in specs for the most part, and also a battery life improvement. I think they said 12 and a half hours of battery life, which is, don't get me wrong, is insane. That's awesome. But yeah, most of it is the new pen, which you do have to buy separately. The Surface Pro now no longer comes with a pen. I don't have a price at the moment, but yes, it does work with the Surface Pro 4. So if you have a Surface Pro 4, like 0 people that I know, feel free.
Don't rush out and buy the new Surface Pro.
Yeah, just buy the pen. It'll work just the same. But the cool thing about the pen is it now has 4,096 levels of sensitivity,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
It also allows. It also has a tilt functionality.
Yeah. So instead of just using it upright like this, you can now use it to the side, to the edge, like you would a pencil, right? The natural way to use a pen. So that's cool.
Like,
but
it's big news. Like the pen itself is the big news. The new Surface Pro is like
it's just a rehash of the Surface Pro 4. Your yearly upgrade, you get 7th generation Intel Core M3, i5, or i7 CPUs, either 4, 8, or 16 gigs of RAM. You know, the general loadout, like 128, 256, 512, or 1 terabyte SSD, the usual stuff.
They literally did not even update the I/O. Like that's
Microsoft. I have a question for you. Why do you hate Thunderbolt? Why can't we have a USB even without Thunderbolt, man?
If it was just USB-C.
USB-C. Can we get anything? Can we get anything like that?
Oh my
I
god.
mean, it's great that your webcam supports Windows Hello again. That's awesome.
Ooh, nobody's gonna use that very much.
I'm super psyched about the keyboard cover. I'm sure it's very soft. I'm sure it is the softest thing in the world. I'm sure it's softer than my kittens.
It's also sold separately. Just saying.
I'm sure it's also sold separately. But give me a stinking USB-C connector, please. What's gonna happen in 2 years when the GPU, which by the way is not dedicated, it's all Intel GPUs. What happens in 2 years when that thing can't pull its own weight anymore, and I want to use an external graphics card? Or what happens if I want to
Especially since they're getting so much cheaper.
Yeah. Or what happens if I want to connect external storage that's really high speed? I can't do that with any of your products right now.
But you have access to that USB 3.0 Type A.
Oh yeah, that weak sauce. Okay. Just give me
Not
a
even
USB-C.
0.1.
Yeah, just give us Thunderbolt 3. If you include Thunderbolt 3, it checks all the boxes. It includes USB 3.1 over a Type-C connector that enables super fast storage and graphics interconnects with direct connections to the PCI Express lanes.
DisplayPort.
Yeah, including DisplayPort. Just give us Thunderbolt, man.
It's it's absolutely ridiculous because they actually put a mini DisplayPort on the Surface Pro 4 and the new Surface Pro, obviously because there was no I/O change,
And the Surface laptop too.
and mini DisplayPort, no Type C, no Thunderbolt. Like it's like they think it's not relevant or something.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's a very capable laptop. I'm sorry, tablet. I'm sure it's a very capable device running Windows 10, all the good stuff. But you're really kind of neutering it without that interconnectivity. And what about the name? I'm gonna keep dogging on you, Microsoft, for this one product. You're already better than Apple. We get that. You don't have to stoop back down to their level. All right. You don't have to say the new. Just call it the freaking Surface Pro 5. Everybody
the
will know
Surface
exactly
Pro
what
5
it
is on
is.
the way.
Don't do that. Call this one the 5. Call that one the 6. We don't need any of this confusion.
It's so ridiculous. It really is.
But that's okay. Speaking of Thunderbolt.
Oh,
bear with me
speaking
here.
of Thunderbolt, Intel has stated that I do believe it's within 2018 they will be opening their doors and allowing any and all who want it to use it.
Yep.
Which is really awesome and probably not the smartest move Intel's ever done.
So what that means is Intel is releasing Thunderbolt 3 to the masses. I'm not sure exactly on the licensing because I'm not a lawyer, but this means potentially AMD could be using it, Thunderbolt, on their chipsets, which is awesome.
So like there's a lot of big things that makes that awesome. Like AMD being able to use Thunderbolt makes it to where the new Ryzen powered laptops are going to be that much more capable, because if the laptops have Thunderbolt, you could use them for 3 years, and when the GPU is out of date, hook up an external, like what was stated earlier about the Surface Pro.
So Intel is actually moving the Thunderbolt 3 protocol onto their CPUs as well, which will make that less expensive to put in laptops and the motherboard. So the way it currently works, if you have Thunderbolt 3 on any kind of motherboard, so let's say you have a Z170, Z270 motherboard using an Intel CPU, and it has Thunderbolt 3, that Thunderbolt is currently supplied by a third-party chipset. It could be any number of brands, could be any number of chips, but none of that is actually built into the CPU. That will be changing, possibly with the next refresh of the Intel CPUs. They could very well have Thunderbolt integrated into them, which is cool because that's going to decrease the price of gaming motherboards. So instead of paying, $250 for a nice motherboard, instead the price is going to drop for the same features down to maybe like 125. So that's really good for everything from decent price gaming laptops to desktops to even servers, because they'll be able to throw so many more onto a chip.
So honestly, like it seems to me like Intel is scrambling hard. Like it feels like
Yeah.
Intel had a lot of awesome stuff on the back burner, and like they were waiting for somebody to like put up some competition, and like now they were like, wait, we didn't want that much competition. Like,
Right. Yeah, AMD just decides to release a whole bunch of stuff at once, and Intel is they're just
like
throwing everything they have,
like
everything they have at this point.
like AMD punched hard, and now Intel's just picking up teeth. Like,
Pretty
and
much.
oh man, and that's like Intel. They were like, oh, like the i9, this is going to be a beast, and then AMD's like Threadripper, this isn't even server grade. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Just wait till you see the server grade stuff.
oh man, like it is an awesome time in hardware right now.
It is. It really is. Maybe we should start a Patreon account and get some assisted funding to make a build.
That would be cool.
Nobody would ever donate to that.
What if we, what if we did the build and then gave it away to one lucky person?
That's an idea.
Yeah.
That's an idea. So, still kind of on the subject of Thunderbolt, do you want to cover the Type C on an MSI graphics card?
Uh, should we cover that quick topic?
And so not using AMD graphics?
Yep. Boom. Done. All right.
Yeah. So an update to last week, there was a rumor circulating around that Intel might be using AMD graphics on their CPUs.
I know I commented on that because
Yeah.
it was easily explained by the fact that AMD split Radeon off.
Well, that's not happening,
No, it's not happening at all.
and that's all. That's literally all. It's not happening.
And if anybody wants a source, just go watch the video from AMD's last conference. Like, yeah, AMD was like, no, not at all.
Yep. Not happening. Story done.
All right. So, speaking of Thunderbolt or Type C, MSI is planning, or I shouldn't say planning. I've seen it. You can see it in the source. The new 1080 Ti, the gaming, whatever, not the Lightning or whatever. The new gaming MSI card has a Type C port. At least from what we can tell, it's Type C.
Oh, here it is.
That's the Lightning.
Give the stream a couple seconds.
Okie dokie.
You can continue.
Okay. While I was watching, you told me to give it a couple seconds. So 1080 Ti, USB Type C. At least we know that the connector is the Type C / Thunderbolt connector. Really not a whole lot to comment on that. I'm suspecting much further that it's gotta be Thunderbolt, because Type C makes zero damn sense.
Well, Type C by itself can contain Thunderbolt, but you're absolutely right. It needs to be Thunderbolt because just USB data on a GPU makes zero damn sense. Now, if you have Thunderbolt on it, that does open up a DisplayPort connector.
Exactly.
A daisy chainable DisplayPort connector, so you can run as many monitors off of it, in theory, as you want.
So, which coincides with it. It's been a few months back, but NVIDIA pulled this like really out of nowhere driver update where they started coding Pascal driver support for Mac OS, which makes no sense because like AMD's had Mac OS for quite a while now.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any recent Macs that have actually included NVIDIA drivers or NVIDIA graphics cards. So I did see that yeah, NVIDIA had started supporting the 10 series GPUs. So yeah, yes, Pascal like the 1080 Ti, 1080, the
So
new Titan, things like that. They did support Mac OS in those drivers.
so Apple's really badass, and I'm not using any sarcasm here. Like Apple has some really awesome badass displays.
Yes.
And but they all have the Thunderbolt connector. Like they all run off Thunderbolt or the Type C, I should say.
Well, okay, so I need to make a small correction there. Apple no longer makes displays.
They
Um,
have displays.
Correct. So the displays on their computers. So I use a 5K iMac at work. Phenomenal display. But Apple, just as another quick aside, Apple no longer makes dedicated monitors. They've moved on to LG to do all that for them. But yes, every display inside a computer, it's just amazing. You really have to see them to understand how good they are.
Apple's always made sure that the video quality was top notch, that editing quality was top notch. Um, but so what? That's where this leads me though. Is like, you like Apple's, like the monitors that have the Apple blah 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 with them are all running off of a Type C port, and now like NVIDIA is coding drivers for Mac, and all of a sudden we're seeing 1080 Ti's with Type C. So it's got to be Thunderbolt, Thunderbolt. Just so you have that, like the display port option there.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and the current Mac that I'm using at work again is the 2015, late 2015, 27-inch iMac 5K. So that's like the top of their line computer because the Mac Pro is currently a joke. So
Yeah,
anyway, it actually only has display or yeah Thunderbolt 2 ports because it was made before the introduction of Thunderbolt 3. And again, to my knowledge, their laptops are the only PCs they sell with Thunderbolt 3. So they don't have any desktops. So that leads me to believe that the new Mac Pro that's being rumored and tossed around in the shadows could very well have that kind of GPU in it with a Thunderbolt 3 port on it. That makes perfect sense to me.
So
Like a 1080 Ti gaming with Thunderbolt.
but at the same time, nobody games on a Mac, and if you do, shame on you.
Well, you could just put Windows on the Mac and game on it.
That's true.
Let me ever so slightly show the Mac Pro cheese grater that may or may not be running Windows at the moment.
Well, I saw a video a little. I that's all I ever do really is watch videos. But I saw a video a little while back, right, where it was a thief walked into a store and was like holding up this guy, and he's like, I want a Mac. Take me to your Macs. And as like the employee's walking the thief over to the Macs, he's like, so what are you going to do with these Macs? And he's like, oh, I'm going to game on it. And this guy like comes out of nowhere, a different employee, and just like whacks the dude in the head with a golf club. And he's like, nobody games on Mac. And he's like, thanks, man. Awesome. You totally saved me from that thief. He's like, he was a thief?
That's great.
It was
cool story, bro.
I can't take any credit for it. I just watched the video. So do you want to cover the next story?
Yeah, so Vega for the masses will be dropping in July.
Rejoice!
Yeah, really rejoice. That is a very good word for it. So let me pull up the article here.
It's been a long time coming. Like I have been waiting on Vega for over like
I'm sorry, your audio dropped out for a second there. How long have you been waiting?
Over a year. Like
okay.
I want and it's not that I'm like rushing out the door to buy one. It's like I want to see the performance. I want to see what AMD is going to bring to the table.
Yeah, we need numbers. So AMD CEO says Gaming RX Vega launching very soon after Frontier Edition, out by July at the latest. So these will be GPUs that you can actually buy at Best Buy or Amazon or Newegg, wherever you want to shop. Throw them in your computer and play games on. These are not the server or enterprise grade stuff that we've covered in previous episodes of this podcast.
No, this is like these are the RX Vega cards. So I'm excited because they've stated that at least AMD or Radeon Group has stated that the RX Vega variants will drastically outperform like Vega Frontier in the gaming like market. Like they're going to be faster, perform better, and require much less resources to operate.
Yeah, and that definitely does make sense because the Frontier cards are, they're designed for deep compute, deep learning, and really, really high-end stuff. Like stuff that you're not using your desktop PC for.
So,
Now
I
these
noticed that first note there. I kind of like stopped writing it or something.
on the dock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. So yeah, these are not the Vega Frontier cards. These are legitimate gaming processors that you buy at a store, shove in your computer, and then play Minecraft. Or anything
So
but Minecraft.
the that's it. Well, I'm just saying now, if you're not running an 8-core Ryzen processor or an i7, top tier processor with a 1080 Ti to play Minecraft, you're doing it wrong.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been doing it wrong my whole life. Well,
Like,
since 2009 when Minecraft actually came out.
there's no way that even your common potato could run it. No.
No. I don't have a Raspberry Pi in the background right now that runs Minecraft.
No.
But anyway, if you're looking at buying an AMD or Radeon GPU, just wait and get a Vega. Considering that the 5 series or the RX 5 series GPUs are kind of rehashes of the 4 series, just overclocked.
That's literally all they are.
You definitely want to hang out for a bit, just for a couple months, and definitely getting a Radeon RX Vega class GPU. Who knows what they're going to be called at the time? They could be RX 6 series, but I kind of doubt that since they just released the 5 series a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
There's going to be a different name.
The big thing to remember too is they're probably not going to follow suit with standard AMD graphics. They're
Why do you say that?
These cards more than likely aren't going to be the $200-$300 price range. Like they're premium cards. They're all running HBM2, which is expensive. Like,
and the Frontier cards were the ones that we saw where like the high-end Frontier was competing with like a GTX 1070, if I'm not mistaken. Those were Frontier chips, right?
Yeah, and that was before that was with default Windows drivers.
Right. So that's pretty much the minimum of that performance for that level of chip. If these are outperforming that, then these are absolutely high-end graphics cards that you're going to be spending $500 to $800 on.
Yeah.
So if you're building a gaming computer, gaming computer, then look out for this.
Yeah. So I have seen some statistics already on the Frontier cards where they are outperforming 1080 Ti's.
Cool.
Like,
I want to see that.
They're awesome. They are wicked awesome. But I also have no idea what Volta is going to bring to the table.
Yeah, none of us do. That's the thing. I mean, that's how it is every year, though. There's some company has rumors of a really powerful graphics card, and then the other company has rumors. Then the first company releases theirs, and then the second company releases theirs. When in reality, it's worse than the first. It's just, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, come July, we'll see what the real performance is.
Yeah. So, and I'm excited. I really am. I am super excited. But
Everybody should be. And by the way, I did scroll a little bit further down on the article here. Um, we do have some numbers, some
ooh,
specifications here. So this is interesting to see. Radeon RX Vega Pro Duo. That what was the last Pro Duo card, Zach? You're definitely more
so,
into AMD
all right.
GPUs than I am.
So the last Pro Duo was Fiji chips. So that would be the same chips that ran the Furies.
So yeah, the Fury X water cooled was essentially the Pro Duo, was it not?
No, the Fury X water cooled was still a standard was a single GPU. The Pro Duos are all dual GPU cards.
Right. Okay.
Uh,
So yeah, it
it's
looks
the
like
same GPU that was in the Fury, but there was just two of them.
gotcha. So it looks like they're using FinFET process, so they don't have an actual um, size. They have the 480 here listed for comparison. So
I
the RX Vega series is Vega 11, which is interesting because they have Radeon RX Vega Gaming listed here as Vega 10. So this must be the chipset that's outperforming Frontier, because Frontier is listed as Vega 10. So this would be the one to look out for,
so
whatever this one
yeah.
is.
Um, so the big differences between Vega 10 and Vega 11 is one's going to have the HBM2 memory, and the other's going to be running either GDDR5 or GDDR6. I don't remember which one.
That's right. We didn't talk about that last week. So you said the Vega 11 would be HBM2.
I I am pretty sure it is, since that's the one that's launching first. I do believe that's the HBM2.
Well, it says 2017, and June, July 2017 are mentioned for the other two. So Vega Frontiers next month, and then RX Vega Gaming is June, July. So that must be what the article's speaking about. Um, the Vega 10, Vega 11 just says 2017, so that could be later on in the year, maybe around November.
We'll see. We'll see, definitely. And just to throw it out there, I do believe from previous articles that Vega's a 14 nanometer chip.
Good to know.
And for some reason, my camera is autofocusing. Stop it, you! I
You're
turned
fine.
that off.
You're fine. Would you like to talk about SoftBank?
Oh, SoftBank. So really, not really a whole lot to talk about with SoftBank. They bought $4 billion in stake for like within Nvidia.
That's a lot of beef.
That's a lot of beef. Like,
I do have the article here too.
um, so if SoftBank sounds familiar to anybody, highly doubtful. But they are the company that purchased
Sprint?
boop, boop, ARM.
Oh, Arm Holdings. That's right.
Yeah, so SoftBank purchased them last year for like 36 point something $billion or some
Looks like
crazy number.
yeah, 32.6. It looks like they own a majority
32.6.
stake in Sprint as well.
Yeah, so SoftBank has like one thing in mind, and that's to just drastically give money to the tech industry to watch it boom. And they're like buying 4 billion stake within Nvidia made them one of the top 4 largest shareholders of the Nvidia corporation. So
Looks like they also have. This is Nvidia. It's just mentioning how Nvidia has partnerships in automotive and major investments in AI, which we've covered in previous episodes as well.
yeah, it's like Nvidia's out there, all right? So like I've always been an AMD fan when it comes to like gaming and just overall. But Nvidia, where they really shine is where they dump a lot of money. And that's really like not into the consumer grade market, but it's into like deep learning, the automotive industries and stuff like that.
Yeah, Nvidia definitely invests probably more than their fair share into R&D just to help the industry improve. Um, and that seems to be a very large focus for them instead of just gaming.
So I know like Nvidia does or donates so much um, into like a crash test simulation.
Right.
So like that's where like those Tesla V100s would step in, which are insane cards, but they're deep learning cards. They're really not meant for graphics processing, like
Yeah,
gaming
it's
processing.
huge compute power. So
Yeah.
if you're
So
doing something with a whole lot of nodes or manipulating huge amounts of data, then you definitely want that kind of processor to be working on your side.
So essentially, they donate so many of those to different automotive crash test facilities, and they allow those types of cards allow them to input the specifications of the vehicle in question, and then they can literally just run virtual simulations of how that car would react crashing into different things.
Yeah.
It allows them to find weak spots in designs before actually dumping, $400,000 into building a test model.
What if NVIDIA and Google partnered together to use Google's AI on NVIDIA's chips to build a car?
And then Arnold Schwarzenegger comes back from the future and no, all right. Come with me if you want to live.
All right. Well, those are all of our main topics. We do have a few more minutes here. We can cover some fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So just these are little tidbits of news that don't really, fit into our other categories. So the first one is, if you don't mind me covering it, Zach,
Go for it.
Microsoft Authenticator on Android now supports fingerprints. That's the whole
That's actually
story.
really cool.
It is really cool. That's the whole story, but I'll elaborate on it. So, a Microsoft Authenticator is basically a little app that you install on your Android phone or Windows phone or iPhone, um, that lets you kind of authenticate, but logins to Microsoft platforms. So, for example, if you have two-factor authentication enabled on your Microsoft account, you would use Microsoft Authenticator as kind of a replacement for the text message.
Yeah,
So the default configuration is just sending a text to your phone, and you respond to the text, enter the code, and then you log in. Microsoft Authenticator is a little more advanced, whereas it's an app that lives on your phone, and whenever a code is pushed to your phone, it opens in the app instead. And now the cool thing is you can just use your fingerprint to authenticate instead of having to enter the code.
Yeah. So just like my phone, I don't have on me. Uh, it has the fingerprint scanner like right on the back, so you just pick it up, touch it, and authenticate it. You're done. Like,
I love this new world of fingerprint scanners. I haven't
well,
I haven't typed a password in a long time.
it's actually it's funny because like this is the most like my phone is the most update phone that I've ever owned, and it's got the fingerprint scanner, but the S8 has got like the iris scanner. Like,
And that's actually been around since the
yeah.
Galaxy S6, I think.
So
Yeah.
like that son of a gun like looks at your eyeball to know if it's you or not.
Real James Bond shit, isn't it?
Yeah. Like and and just also throwing it out there, it got beaten by a contact lens in a picture.
I did see that. Um, so the cool thing about Windows Hello, which is a feature in Windows 10 that requires a very specific webcam, um, is that it can't be fooled that easily. It's extremely secure and extremely accurate. So, just as a heads up, people, if you're buying a new laptop and it has Windows 10 on it, look for Windows Hello support because it's just amazing technology. You open up the laptop, look at it, it sees you, and you log in. Really
And
cool.
it can tell depth essentially
Yeah,
is how it works. So
it has
which is
multiple sensors on it, multiple cameras.
so that's what fooled the S8 was because the S8 also looks for depth. Man, I'm having a lot of trouble. But so the S8 scans the eyeball, and it's like, oh, it's round, so it's got to be organic because there's depth. It's not a picture. Where they what they did was is they took a contact lens, stuck it over the photograph of the eye
To add that bit of depth.
to add that bit of depth, and yeah, it let them in. What a lot of people aren't talking about though was the fact that the picture that they had to use was an infrared photograph of the eye.
Oh yeah. So they
So,
definitely covered their bases in more than one way, and kind of tricked all the sensors at the same time for the S8.
um, which honestly, let's face it, nothing is 100% secure.
No.
Like, it's not. All right, but let's move forward to the last topic of the day.
You got this one.
ESL to start streaming esports events to Facebook. So the source has actually got like a whole article on it. I'm not going to cover a whole lot. Essentially, starting in June, you'll be able to watch competitive esports events, mostly CS:GO, on Facebook. And their reasoning behind it was Facebook has a crap load of audience. Like, there's a lot of people on Facebook. It's the happening place. It's a good place to be.
Yeah, and that's actually just as another aside. That's why we chose Facebook to kind of almost exclusively live stream to, because we were originally using Beam, Mixer, um, and Twitch, as well as Facebook. But we already have an audience on Facebook. Instead of having people go from Twitch to Facebook, or Mixer, or YouTube to Facebook, we just stream on Facebook and then upload to YouTube later on because our audience is already here. Yep. And that's kind of the logic behind this this announcement. But it's going to be cool to see esports on Facebook live. It'd be really cool.
So we do have a couple of things that I think I'd like to cover. Like, we're out of topics. Just throwing that out there. We're done. We're done with our topics.
It's not too bad. I mean, we're 3 minutes short of an hour,
but
not bad at all.
So starting very soon, however, we are going to have more than just the video on Facebook and the playback available on YouTube. You're going to be able to actually listen to the podcast on, SoundCloud and whatever other service wants the audio.
That's the idea. We're going to put it everywhere that wants us, and some places that don't. So yeah, we can start it with this episode. We can just strip the audio, and I'll do my best to strip the audio from the previous episodes, but of course,
episodes 1 and 2 are, the audio is not worth it. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. My audio, it wasn't good.
but we've cleared all that up now. So maybe we'll strip the audio just to have it as kind of an artifact there, an ancient little bit of tech. Yes. But officially, yeah, the first audio only files will be available from this episode. The first 3 are kind of iffy. And those will be available on our website soon enough, which we will bring more details later.
Yeah, so website definitely in the works.
The website is nearly done, but we don't have a domain name yet.
So the stuff is happening, folks. Stuff is happening.
We're moving beyond this, and we will continue to do this.
All right. So on a final note for the live stream, would you like to show people how to disable the SMB?
No, because I closed the article. I will happily make a separate video on how to disable SMB for those who do not use it.
Find that on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, and of course that'll be posted on Facebook as well.
And Facebook as well.
As a tech tip.
I'm actually going to share a link to our YouTube channel if it's not already attached to the page.
Okay, go ahead and do that.
All right,
So
here you
just
go.
to kind of close things up here, we realize that not everybody I've invited to like our page is super interested in technology. But if you do know anyone that would like the show, please share it with them. We want to broaden our audience as much as we can, especially here in the beginning. That's really important for us. So if you know
If you,
anybody that could be interested in technology or any of the topics we cover, or if you have any ideas for us, please let us know and we'll be happy to try and accommodate.
yeah, we're more than happy to accept all feedback, even if it's something like not exactly pertaining to tech or something like that. Like,
Yeah. Like if you don't like my Minecraft poster in the background, let us know. We'll fix
and
it.
if you don't like,
Maybe not.
you know, if you don't like my Django Fett, there's problems with you, but let me know.
Django Fett is second best Fett.
You son of a gun.
He's
You
an old
hurt me.
man. He's an old man. He lost his head one day.
Cutting me deep, bro.
Mace Windu cut him deep.
All right, actually, yeah. You know what? I cannot argue with like good, solid facts.
Yeah. He lost his head. All right.
All right.
Well,
So
on that note, I think it's good for us to sign off now.
yep. See everybody next week that shows up.
You got
I
this.
don't know. There's one person here right now. Like everybody left. I'm really sad. But all right. See everybody next week. Goodbye.
Yeah, same time, same place, Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Facebook. We will be here. You should too.
Blah.
Bye.